Okay, so it's the middle of the night. Oh, crap. It's the middle of the night. It's like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. I've never done, well, not that I haven't done one of these, but I haven't done one of these in a long time and in this kind of way. But I'm pissed off enough to do one, so I'm going to do one. Anyway, it is July 5th. It is 1:53 a.m. in the morning. I was just at a July 4th function in Morehead City, North Carolina. And function, I should say, just fireworks. It was a fireworks thing. And I actually had a decent time, all considering. It was kind of laid back. I got there kind of late anyway because I had slept the majority of the day. And so didn't really feel like doing a whole lot. But I still managed to get stuff done earlier today anyway. Some stuff that I needed to get done. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I went to this firework thing, and it just so happened that my aunt and my uncle were harassing me again spiritually and electronically with this tech. You know, the direct energy weapons and the what do you call it? The RNM, remote neural monitoring network tech. Anyway, sorry. I know you all love to see me up close and personal. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I was having a good time. I knew that they were trying to do crazy crap, and before I even left the house, I saw them put parts of me in what's called, I guess, like electronic binds, so to speak. It's like it's like watching this dark black circle be put around some part of you. And anyway, they were trying to get me to go to Camp Lejeune, and I didn't want to go to Camp Lejeune. I said no. Why in the heck would I want to go to Camp Lejeune? First of all, I don't have base access. I'm not military, even though I might be, a military dependent, though I'm not an active military dependent. My mother's retired, and my family, my aunt and my uncle, of course, I've not been in touch with because they've pissed me off, so I don't want to. I refuse to continue to maintain contact with them because of the fact of what they've been doing and still doing. So I don't want to talk to them. So anyway, I mean, the more space that I can put between myself and all the people that have been involved in attacking me, the better, honestly, because I just am not interested in, participating in their stupidity. Anyway, apparently it doesn't seem to matter anyway because they still try to find me in my home and attack me and put me in these strange binds and then try to get me to go places, spiritually speaking, so that they can try to control what I'm doing, what I'm thinking about, who I interact with, so on and so forth. So I get to, you don't, so I get to Morehead City, and I, expect that there might be some sort of setup there, as there has been almost every single day, or at least, something that they try to manipulate or control whatever they possibly can. Whether it comes down to my interactions with other people, if they sense that I might be interacting with someone that might be able to assist me, or might even, provide me a glimpse of happiness or joy, they try to come between that. The reason why I'm moving my camera around and why I've stopped, I don't know if some of you may or may not be adept at seeing these individuals in spirit come over here and bother me. I've seen it several times with so many different people. I've seen people or entities in spirit try to come over and try to do crazy things to them. Mostly I've seen like people try to stick implants or constructs in other people to attempt to control conversations or movements or what they think or how they interact again with people. It's hard to explain unless you are adept in seeing this stuff, and you can even get to a point where you can see it, even through electronics. I'm what some would consider an empath. I think I might be a little bit more than that. Because I'm very, very, very intuitive and very empathic, and I can my sensory gets overwhelmed and at times, and I can feel things that other people are feeling. I can see things that other people have been, seeing or experiencing, so on and so forth. It's very, very detailed, and sometimes it's very graphic. Sometimes it's to the point where, I can see what may happen and what has happened, so on. Anyway, the point of the matter is that you'll probably notice, throughout this video that I am still battling these entities, and these, what I like to fondly refer to them as dinglebats. And they're people that are, astral projecting to me, or using electronics to try to harm me. And so you might see me reacting to it. You've probably seen other people in different ways react to this kind of stuff. And that's a whole nother, I'd like to get into this conversation, but it's a whole nother ball game. I have a feeling I'm probably going to be doing more of these vlogs, just so that you can get an understanding of what's going on. Anyway, back to the 4th of July stuff. So I'm at the fireworks, and of course I knew that they would probably try to interject and try to be jerks at some point, and try to, just they do crazy things to either try to, they have to have some sort of negativity that pops up somewhere, or they have to try to drag you down in some strange way. So they try the weirdest and strangest of things to get to you. Anyway, I went to the fireworks, and I got out of my car, walked over. Everything was fine. I enjoyed, my time taking pictures of the fireworks and so on. Of course, the whole time, like I'm constantly having this woman, which happens to be Tom's wife. They try to call themselves handlers, but they're not my handlers. They try to call me a slave. I'm not their slave. Anyway, the point of the matter is, I'm hearing this woman yap and yap and yap and yap and yap in my ear, and it's like, it's just constant. And I've never ever had to deal with this before until about, what was it, the first part of 2015 was when it all started. Things started getting a little kind of crazy. So now, for every single day since January, February of 2015, I've been hearing these people yap and yap and yap and yap and yap in my head until I'm so focused on other things that I can't hear them. Anyway, the funny thing is that I'm laughing because I noticed that, like, I'm doing this kind of twitching thing. I'm trying to shake off some jerk that's probably came over here is trying to watch what I'm doing, and you may or may not be able to see it. It takes a special kind of person, I guess, or a special kind of ability to be able to see and feel these entities or these people that will actually come over and try to, they attempt to drive you, quote unquote, though they don't have any right to, or so on. But they'll even attempt to see what you're doing. She's yapping in my ear again, you know how she is. But that's why you see people jerking their heads around. I didn't used to do this when I was younger, but prior to 2015, I was very stoic. I was very upright. I was the one that was like very, very quiet and very, very observant. And now I've become this kind of like loud kind of person that's constantly like jerking around and doing crazy things. And it's like, wait a minute, that's not me, and I know it's not. And I know people know, they know that that's not who she is and who I've been, and they know this. And I've read and heard people directly and both indirectly and directly say, this something's going on. It's not like her to behave this way. Well, no, it's not, because I've got these jerks that are constantly trying to mess with me electronically or say crazy crap to me or try to get me upset just because they're idiots. Anyway, back to the 4th of July thing at Moorhead. So I went to have a good time. I took my pictures, and then I went to go walk around, and this gentleman, first I went to walk around. I was just minding my own business. I'm like, I'm not even gonna, bother with, whatever's going on. I'm just gonna just enjoy my time and just recenter myself and just have fun. So I did just exactly that, and I went walking around. And when I did that, I decided to go get some ice cream. Well, we all know there's a code out there, for these people that end up becoming what they call hive-minded, or, in politics, and they eat ice cream. They eat a lot of ice cream. They eat a lot of pizza, hot dogs, hamburgers, and some other things that I can't remember. But there was this whole. You can actually find it online, the different types of foods that people eat, and when they eat them, it's like a code. It's like saying, okay, if they're eating an ice cream, then they're gonna do something to a little girl or a little boy or something. I can't remember what I think the pizza was like a little boy, or no, a hot dog is a little boy. Anyway, it's really sick. It's so messed up. It's so sick. It's not even funny. And I, before, when I was younger, when I used to eat pizza and ice cream and hot dogs, I used to love hot dogs. Now I don't like them very much at all. I have to, just because, and it all has to do with that one video. I'm sure almost everybody remembers it, of where we all saw, hot dogs being made with this like slime stuff, and it just turned me off so badly it wasn't even funny. And I used to eat hot dogs without any question. Now I don't, unless it's like an authentic, Polish sausage or something like that. I won't eat hot dogs if I can help it. Anyway, so I do still like pizza. Who doesn't? And I used to enjoy eating pizza. I'd have a pizza maybe once a week-ish, maybe once or twice a month. It just depended on what was going on. Ice cream, same thing. I mean, I didn't eat as much of it as I do now. I used to eat it in a lot less moderation. But it's partly been because of the heat, but I've noticed that since I've been down here in North Carolina, that I've been eating a lot of ice cream. It seems like it's almost every day. And I realize and I recognize that part of it is the heat. Excuse me. But the other part of it is that I'm being pushed to do that. Pushed to eat that ice cream. And the reason why is because the ice cream has sugar in it. Sugar is what they use to push the synthetic. It's the chemicals in the ice cream and the sugar itself that they use to it kind of works to like bring you down in different ways. Like it'll, we all know that sugar has, and I have to watch how I word this again, because it all comes down to, watch how you word it. And I don't, they're telling me, watch how you word this, and don't say things this way, and don't say things that way, and so on and so forth. Of course, I have to be careful anyway, because I know that they'll try to abuse that, and they'll try to use it to, try to affect the situation in some way, shape, or form. Anyway, the point of the matter is, sugar is bad for you. It's not good for you. It's not good for your body. It's not good for any part of your body. Sugar can be good in some respect and in healthy amounts and in if it's coming from healthy sources like fruits. But if you're eating lots of ice cream, if you're eating a lot of processed foods, that's going to cause more problem for you because it's going to make it harder for your immune system to work well and to fight off the radicals that are coming in, or trying to come in anyway. And again, just bear with me as I go through this. The point of the matter is that they use the sugar to not only put implants in your body, but they use it in conjunction with the synthetics that they're using. Whole purpose of the synthetics is to try to drive how you think, what you do, how your body interacts, how you are feeling. They try to process and push like different types of pain in the body. For me, it's mostly been in my head, neck, and back, and in the stomach area. Like I can feel when they try to push implants or these tech binds onto my stomach. They talk about magnets a lot. That too, when you eat a lot of sugar, for some strange reason, it allows magnets to work on you. Whereas when you are eating lots of fruits and vegetables, and when you're eating clean meats, not a whole lot of red meats, but like clean meats like turkey or chicken, drinking lots and lots of water, and staying away from the sodas and the fruit juices and all the sugar and stuff like that, then it makes it easier for your body to not only process out the free radicals, but it also keeps your spirit up, keeps your immunity up, and keeps you from having to put up with this synthetic crap and everything that comes along with it. So the challenge, though, is that because they keep trying to push what you eat, and of course then there's so many different facets to how they try to work on you. They try to push you into situations where you feel like you feel like there's not that many choices available. Like you might take a lower paying job, especially if it works you a lot. And I did that for 3 years. It was something I'd never really done before, where I was working upwards of 50, 60 hours a week, every week. And I had a whopping 1 week of vacation in the year, which was not normal for me. Normally, in the past, I've been able to take at least 2 weeks of vacation, not just 2 weeks of vacation, but not working near as many hours and hardly having any time to myself to relax. And then on top of that, constantly being bombarded with what's going on with me. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling this pain? Or having different situations come up where I felt like, and then they tried to push me to go here and go there and so on. And it was just constant. When you're constantly being harassed mentally and psychologically, it doesn't help, because then you don't feel like you're getting a whole lot of rest. And I don't know if you can tell right now, but I'm just like, and I didn't used to be that way. I used to be a very, very centered, calm person. And it's a combination of being harassed. It's a combination of all the crappy food that they push you to eat. It's a combination of lack of sleep, being in an unsafe area or feeling unsafe, or even being in a work environment that's causing, additional stress, or even around coworkers that are deliberately involved in trying to harm you. It's gonna mess with you. and that shouldn't be happening, period, in the subject. But anyway, so that's, on top of all the financial stress that I've had over the past 3 years of trying to figure out what am I going to do, how am I going to pay this bill, and being so stressed out about it that you feel like you can't, or you don't know where to turn to for help. So that's partly what, also what's been going on. Like, I have student loans, $40,000 in student loans. And of course I haven't even been able to use my certificate because I haven't had the money to pay to go get my exam so that I can get on with finding a decent position to pay for my bills, because they keep trying to screw me up financially to keep me oppressed and trapped. And in a situation where they feel like they can try to abuse me, all for the sole purpose of trying to take what rightfully belongs to me, which is a happy life and finances and prosperity, and really ultimately just being happy with my life and my purpose and living my purpose, and or having a husband or having a kid or having the car that I want, so on and so forth, or being able to be productive in society and helping society the way that I want to be, which I didn't have a problem with before, but now all of a sudden it's a huge problem. And they'll harp on any teeny tiny little thing that is going on in your life. They'll try to harp on it and turn it into something ridiculous, and it doesn't have to be that way. Anyway, so that's what I've been dealing with. And of course they try to distort everything, and lately they've been trying to turn it around and turn it like, it's all my fault for what's been going on, and so on and so forth. They've been trying to harp on things that went on in the past, trying to bring up the past, when I know that I had already overcome everything in my past, but they want to bring it all up again and try to turn me into that person that I was in the past, when I'm so far beyond everything that went on back then. It's not even funny. Anyway, the point of the matter is that they will harp on the tiniest of things. And going back to the sugar situation, the whole push was to get me to go eat something sugary. Naturally, the only thing that was available and open to eat down there that was, within my price range, because again, I'm working on whopping $40. Well, really not more than like $40 available to me right now until I get my unemployment check and my last paycheck from my last employer. And I couldn't stay at my last employer because I was being harassed by almost the entire training class at my employer, which happened to be Alorica. It's working with American Express. I should not have been surprised, but I was. And I was surprised because, and yes, I'm messing with my head right now because they're trying to put some crazy ass headband on my head that I don't want on my head right now. And this is what they call a halo. And this is what they use to, they'll make you all kind of freaked out. They try to get you all wound up in fear, or try to get you all wound up in anger, or anything that they can try to attempt to control you with. You might feel pressure in your face, like right now I'm feeling pressure in my face. And now they're doing it because they just want to put on a show, because they're assholes. And this is their way of saying, if you try to speak out, this is how we're going to treat you. And that's how much of a bunch of assholes that they are. This is mostly military that's behind it. In some cases, it's I guess what people have been referring to them as neo-Nazis now, I guess, or just Nazis. They've been trained in what they call like the infraguard or whatever. Now, I don't know how much of that part is true. You might have heard of ISIS. I think that's the best way to describe them, is that they're basically just ISIS. And they claim to be these really kind, really upright people, but they're not. They're anything but. And they've proven that over and over and over again with the way that they behave. And you might not be able to see it automatically, but over time, you'll see it. Over time, if you're paying attention, if you're observing these people, trust me, it's worth it to really observe, when you're around anyone, how they're going to behave especially if they choose to. It's really bothering me. That's why I'm rubbing my head and rubbing my face and so on. Anyway, the point of the matter is that all they want is airtime. Their egos, they love it. They feed off of it. They feed off this stuff. They feed off of torturing people. They feed off of hurting people. They feed off of their fear, of their anger. Anything that bothers you or worries you, they'll try to harp on it and they'll try to feed off of it because they just want the airtime. They want their names out there, people to know how awful that they are, because it's a false sense of power. Murderers are not powerful, they're cowards. Especially murderers that go behind, people's backs to take money or use their identity and their information for money, and that's all that they really want. And to try to control you. That's it. And to let it be known that it's so powerful, because they do this stuff, but they're not really. They're not. Anyway, the point of the matter is that I ended up eating ice cream because I was hungry. And by the way, it was at 4th of July. For Pete's sakes, have a freaking ice cream. Eat whatever the heck you're gonna eat. I was hungry. I hadn't eaten in a couple of hours, so yeah, I'm gonna eat something. Happened to be a $4 ice cream. Anyway, so that being said, I went on about my business and I was fine. I was fine and dandy. And then all of a sudden I passed this gentleman that was just nonchalantly walking down the street. He was wearing a red hat. And he had his cell phone on. And he turned his cell phone in a way that it was pointed up and towards me. And I knew instantly the minute that he did that, because it's very funny. Again, if you're really watching these people, you can see the teeny tiny little tricks that they use to try to what they call, I guess, like create some kind of a hook or attachment to you with their phones. And that's how they create what's called like this electronic cage, tech cage, for lack of better explanation. It's hard to explain. I can draw it all day I want, and you can actually, if you're again really adept at seeing things, especially in spirit, or really adept at feeling things and very, very sensitive like I am, you can actually see this stuff on you. You can see it, you can feel it with your bare hands, and you can actually, if you focus enough, you can actually move it off of you. Obviously when you're caught up in the moment, or when you're afraid, it's harder to do that. But when you remain centered and fully focused and fully focused and fully present, then you're capable of removing all this stuff that they keep trying to push on you. I can feel it. It's like a very weird sensation. They do this almost every day, where they're almost pushing something, and it feels like it's coming through my head this way and out the front of my forehead. This is technically where your pineal gland is in this area, up in this particular area. And so this is where you're projecting out as far as what your life is, what your thoughts are, so on and so forth. So they use this little implant. There's several different implants that they put on your head. One is up towards, the front of your forehead. They have some that come out through the back of your forehead. They have some that are on the top, that sit on the top, and they're supposed to represent, like in the past where people have seen Satan being depicted, that's where the horns are coming from, like coming from this area. They try to make those of us who believe in Jesus Christ and who believe in God, they're trying to make us out to be satanic in some way. Now, I'm not a Satanist in any way, shape, or form. I very much believe in God and I very much believe in Jesus Christ. But they try to depict people that way with this technology. And it's like these little clamps that they put here on the sides, and sometimes they'll put what they call constructs, and they're like it depends on how sensitive you are, how you're going to feel them, or whether you're going to feel them. Sometimes you can even see them in your body if you're looking around at your spiritual body. Sometimes they can be anywhere from like maybe an inch or so big, maybe a centimeter. It feels like they're an inch big anyway in some respects, or little metal magnets you can feel on different sides of the head. If you're into phrenology, you'll understand if people are seeming a little bit more fearful or aggressive than normal, then they might be attacking this side of the head. And it might be just implants or negative energy that they're trying to speak over you in that area. But the whole purpose of the halo is so that they can direct their tech, and they'll follow you by your geolocation on your phone. But they'll direct their tech at different areas of your body or your head, mostly through your stomach. And they use different parts of your stomach or even your leg. In my case, it's been mostly it's been almost all parts of my body practically, but literally inside and out, that they've been poking and prodding at to create different sensations, or to try to make me seem more aggressive in some situations, or more upset, or more animated or less animated, or lately they've been trying to make me seem flat and without personality, which if anybody, most people know me and know that I have a personality. Most people do have a personality. But anyway, the point of the matter is that when this gentleman walked by me and with his phone tilted up, I guess they let out like a signal where it catches the phone. The phone acts like a hook or a doorway, and it catches that tech cage that I was telling you about that you have over you with this halo. So what happens from there is that they will what they call a gang stalker or perp, which was that gentleman which was walking past with the phone, will input certain codes to try to code you or program you a certain way, or they will be communicating with other perps and gang stalkers as far as where is this individual, what are they doing, what's the next setup, what's the next plan, so on and so forth, to try to then the whole purpose is to try to make you look bad or drag you down.